Reflections, The Mask of Ignorance, Excerpts from Not a Chance by R.C. Sproul and Keith Mathison. Let us stop talking of chance or luck, or at most speak of them as mere words that cover our ignorance. Jacques Bossuet. The term ignorant is sometimes used pejoratively to describe someone who is crude or crass. Its primary meaning, however, has to do with the question of knowledge, or the lack of it. The root comes from the Greek word gnosis, which means knowledge. To be agnostic in the Greek sense is to be gnosis, without knowledge. The Latin equivalent is ignoramus. Stanley L. Jockey begins his chapter Loaded Dice with a quotation from Paul Janet. Chance is a word void of sense, invented by our ignorance. I quarrel with Janet's statement about chance. Certain aspects of it are true, but one is an error. It is true that chance is a word. It is also true that it is invented by, or because of, our ignorance. It is not true, however, that the word is void of meaning. Chance is a perfectly useful and meaningful word. We have already seen its valid use as a concept referring to mathematical possibilities. Its use in ordinary language is meaningful. When we say that two people met by chance in a railroad station, we describe a meaningful situation that we often use the word coincidence to describe. If we use the illustration of the coin toss, we remember that chance describes the mathematical possibilities of the outcome. Here, chance serves as a kind of utilitarian shorthand. It is a kind of Occam's razor-like tool to simplify complex matters. When the referee stands at midfield before a football game with a coin poised on his thumb and asks the respective captains to call it, the captains are not about to witness a controlled scientific experiment. They do not know if the coin to be tossed is face up or face down. They lack the knowledge of several other factors: the density of the atmosphere, the amount of force that will be exerted by the referee's thumb, the number of revolutions the coin will make, where the referee will catch the coin, whether the coin will be turned over after it is caught, or even if the coin will fall to the ground uncaught. With all these variables to consider, the captains are ignorant of the outcome in advance. Yet they are required to choose, to predict the outcome. They take their chances and make a call. Their decision will influence the game as the kicking and receiving teams will be determined. Chance itself has no influence on the outcome of either the coin toss or the subsequent game. The decisions made, reckoned by the players, will influence the game. They take their chances and make their call. If we could conduct a closed experiment with a coin toss in a vacuum, beginning from a fixed position, with a fixed number of revolutions and a fixed method of completion, and if the controlled experiment were repeated, the 50-50 odds would change dramatically. Indeed, if the experiment were controlled enough, to wager against the repeated result given 50-50 odds would be the nadir of foolishness. It would be like betting against an instant replay of a horse race on the grounds that the odds are against the long-shot winner of the race, duplicating his feat in the replay. The term chance is also useful to describe games called games of chance. Card games, dice games, and the like involve uncertain outcomes that are measured by probability quotients translated into odds. Games of chance, however, are not without their element of skill. Skilled card players pay close attention to the cards being played. This is why card counters are banned from certain gaming tables in Las Vegas. The more observant card players are able to reduce the ignorance factor involved and enhance their chances of winning. Likewise, skilled dice players master the odds and play accordingly. In other words, their knowledge will make their guesses luckier in the long run. But in all this, chance, though a meaningful term, is not a causal factor in any of the above transactions. It has no more power to influence the roll of the dice or the toss of a coin than it does the creation of a universe. When Janet says that chance is invented by ignorance, he is closer to the mark. Aristotle allowed for the formal significance of chance, but not its material significance. Jockey comments, when it comes to material causality, Aristotle allows no chance, and quite logically. Chance as a material cause would imply for him the rise of something out of no antecedent material cause, that is, out of nothing. Likewise, Thomas Aquinas rejected chance as a material causality because it would imply that matter can arise spontaneously, that is, by chance or without cause, out of nothing. Jacques cites several allusions to the relationship between chance and ignorance. The list includes a number of notable figures. Let us stop talking of chance or luck, wrote Jacques Bossuet. or at most speak of them as mere words that cover our ignorance. Here Bossuet describes chance as a mere word. To say a word is mere indicates that the word is a name for something that is not a thing. Being a mere word means it has no ontological status. It is noumena, not res. It is not by chance that the current debate in cosmology often enters the arena of the classical debate between nominalism and realism. The fatal flaw of chance scientists is that they impute real being to the name chance. When chance is said to cover our ignorance, it does not imply a negative judgment on those who suffer from such ignorance. There is no shame in not knowing how the coin will turn up in an ordinary, uncontrolled coin toss. The ignorance of the outcome is covered, thereby cutting the Gordian knot. Chance, according to Jacques' paraphrase of David Hume, is only our ignorance of real causes. Such a citation from Hume, who is frequently thought to be the demolisher of causality, may be surprising. Let us be content to observe that Hume adds something specific to the notion of chances covering ignorance. He spells out what is only tacit in Janet's and Bossuet's linking of chance with ignorance. He names the baby, unwilling to allow it to continue as a bastard child. The specific ignorance that the word chance covers is, as Hume asserts, the ignorance of real causes. Here chance is linked to two critical factors, causality and reality. To say things happen by chance is to make a statement about reality. It is a false statement about reality, the statement made in ignorance. Hume speaks of real causes. Presumably a real cause differs from an unreal cause or imagined cause. When we attribute a false cause or no cause to an event, we exhibit ignorance. The only quarrel I have with his statement in his use of the term only. He says chance is only our ignorance. Insofar as the statement says something about chance, it is perfectly cogent and accurate. Chance is only ignorance means that that's all it is. It is not an entity with causal power. Here only functions like Bossuet's mere. The ellipsis, when spelled out, translates, chance is only a word for our ignorance. On the other hand, if we read the statement with different emphasis, it can be construed to mean, chance is a matter only of our ignorance. Since I doubt if this is what you meant, my quarrel dissolves. I labor this point only to give one caveat. The term only, if applied to ignorance, may suggest a trivial matter of ignorance. It may be construed to say, chance is only our ignorance of real causes, and our ignorance of real causes is an insignificant matter. But if our ignorance of real causes prompts us to substitute chance for real causes, then the matter becomes one of monumental significance. Chance as a substitute for real causes not only obscures real causes, it threatens the very heart of scientific inquiry, because ignorance expands to such a degree that it ends up in attempts to justify irrationality. What we call chance, wrote Voltaire, can only be the unknown cause of a known effect. There are some intriguing aspects to this observation. One aspect is that it is written by a man closely identified with the period of the Enlightenment. A vital legacy from that era was emphasis on the analytical method of science. This method may be defined as a quest for the logic of the facts. The Enlightenment methodology ushered in a major breakthrough in empirical inductive science. The search comprised basically two parts. First, the compilation of data or facts discovered and verified by observation, experimentation, measurement, and the like. And second, the analysis of the logic of these facts. The question was one of integration. Enlightenment science assumed a certain coherence or order to reality. It sought paradigms that would explain or make sense of individuated bits or facts. If certain facts could not fit the prevailing model, new models were sought and constructed to account for them. This was the modern version of the ancients' desire, a la Plato, to save the phenomena. In every paradigm ever constructed, including present ones, certain pesky anomalies are present. Ours is not the first scientific generation to fail to produce an anomaly-free paradigm. Anomalies don't fit the logic of the paradigm. When they arise, we have three options. Number 1, deny the facts. Number 2, deny logic. Or number 3, modify the paradigm. What is deadly is attempt to achieve 3 by using 1 or 2 or both. Anomalies represent present mysteries. They are unsolved problems. An easy solution to mystery is to give it another name: chance. Voltaire saw chance as a word substitute for the unknown, again a cover-up for ignorance. The problem is one that confuses mystery and contradiction. All contradictions are mysterious. Not all mysteries are contradiction. To say that the cause of a known effect is unknown is to say that the cause remains a mystery. To say that the cause of a known effect is chance is to say that the cause is a contradiction. It is to say that the effect has no cause, which is a contradiction in terms. The terms mystery and contradiction are often confused even by the most lucid thinkers. They are easy to confuse because they have so many similarities. All contradictions are mysterious in the sense that we cannot understand them. We cannot understand them because they are inherently, intrinsically, and eternally unintelligible. Even God cannot understand a contradiction. That which is illogical is unintelligible. Logic has no content. Aristotle did not create logic, he defined it. He did not treat logic as a self-contained science. Rather, he called it the organon, or instrument, of all science. He saw logic as the necessary condition for intelligible discourse. It is a pre-scientific necessity for doing any science at all. Countless times and countless places by countless people, Aristotle's organon has been denied. People say they believe in contradictions, but they simply do not know what they are talking about. I say they do not know what they are talking about because they cannot know what they are talking about. People can easily assert contradictions, but no one can understand contradictions. They remain forever mysterious. On the other hand, a bona fide mystery is a truth that may be intelligible. Many past mysteries have been resolved by the discovery of new information. The great accomplishment of science inquiry is that so many former mysteries have now been resolved, and resolved in an intelligible manner. We hope for more such resolutions as our knowledge bank expands. We have no such hope for the future resolution of contradictions. If we encounter two contradictory statements, we know that one of them may be true and the other false. It is also possible that both are false. What is intelligible is that both can be true. When we encounter bona fide contradictions in our scientific inquiry, we can take comfort that at least one of them is erroneous. This arms us with the weapon we need to achieve new breakthroughs by analyzing the assumptions to discern the error. There is no greater erroneous assumption muddying the waters of contemporary science than the assumption that chance is instrumental causal power. Here contradiction runs wild under the seemingly harmless cloak of mystery. Voltaire did not mean that chance is in fact a cause. He said, "What we call chance." Voltaire in effect ruled out chance as an actual cause. He is saying that we use the word chance as a substitute word for a real cause that is yet unknown to us. But by calling the unknown cause chance for so long, people begin to forget that a substitution was made. It has been said that if we tell a lie often enough and boldly enough, people will begin to believe it. The assumption that chance equals an unknown cause has come to mean for many that chance equals cause. Voltaire's axiom was echoed by Claude Helvetius, who said, "I understand by chance the unknown chain of causes capable of producing such and such effort." E.H. Huxley wrote, "Do they believe that anything in this universe happens without reason or without a cause?" Huxley's question was made in response to those who tried to milk Darwinism for a wholesale endorsement of chance. Huxley was incredulous at such a prospect. Indeed, to grant casual power to chance is a matter not of faith, but of credulity. What is implicit in the earlier quotations becomes explicit in Huxley, namely the link between causality and reason. We merely note in passing that Huxley made the association. In a sense, Huxley was trying to defend Charles Darwin from Darwinists. Darwin himself once wrote to J.D. Hooker, "I cannot look at the universe as the result of blind chance." Chance, of course, is in worse condition than being blind. Chance is deaf, dumb, and impotent as well. Charles S. Peirce wrote that a contradiction is involved in the very idea of a chance world. In his most pragmatic moments, Peirce could not abide contradiction. He took no chances of a chance. These citations raise an important question. Why, if the notion of chance as a real force is ruled out absolutely by such learned men of the past, does it persist in contemporary cosmological thinking? For the most part, the scholars cited were not men carrying a brief for theology. Most may be identified as philosophers, and thereby can be ignored in such an anti-metaphysical and anti-intellectual age as ours. The ease with which logic is abandoned or insulted reflects in part the modern rupture between science and philosophy. Modern science in many quarters has taken deliberate flight from philosophy. Scientists' motives are mixed. Some do it out of frustration with the non-empirical nature of such philosophical speculation. Others do it to escape accountability to the bar of reason. Philosophers are the watchdogs of reason. At least they were until they joined the flight by bracing existential thought.